Well, hello everybody, wherever you are, whatever time it is where you are, and welcome to our first webinar of the year for European Speciality Tea Association. I can just see people joining now as we are just making our introductions. As you're all joining, I just want to say thank you for giving us your time this evening or this morning or whatever time it is, this afternoon, to just learn about what's going to happen within European Speciality Tea Association during the course of the next 12 months. I'd just like to remind everybody, as we are all joining, that we are a membership organisation, and it's all about our members. Our members are our lifeblood. And if you are with us today and you're not a member, you're most welcome. But we would urge you and just ask you to consider joining us and becoming part of this fantastic movement and community that we have now. My name is David Veal. If you don't know me, I'm the Executive Director of the European Speciality Tea Association and also the reserve host for our webinars, because as those of you who are with us who are regulars, you will know that usually Bernadine Tay does this particular job. She's been called away today by one of the British television channels to do some work with them on Earl Grey tea. So we've released her today, and she's doing greater things. We were also hoping to have Nigel Mellican, our president, with us this evening, but he is working on a project in Belize, so difficult for him to join us. But having said that, you have a great team here, and so I'm joined by Alexis Kay from Simply Tea in Aarhus in Denmark, and Oscar Woolley from Suki Tea, Belfast, Northern Ireland. I'll just hand you over to both of them to introduce themselves. So Alexis, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Thank you. Yeah, I'm Alexis Kay, and I am the Vice President of the European Specialty Association, and, which I'm very proud of, the Director of Education. Anything else you'd like to know?
What tea are you drinking at the moment?
I am drinking an Anji Bai Cha from China, one of my favorite drinks.
You're just showing off now, aren't you? Oscar.
Good evening or afternoon or morning, wherever you are. So I got into tea 16 years ago. I run a business called Suki Tea, and I look after the marketing side as well as a lot of other parts of the European Specialty Tea Association. So I joined the board 2 years ago now, and so I've seen that journey progress into what we're about to talk about today, and it's a real good synopsis that we're going to review. So welcome everybody. This is great to be part of.
Okay, thanks, Oscar. So this evening we're going to look briefly at what some of the things that happened in 2021. Then we're just going to I'm going to introduce you by PowerPoint to the people who've made that possible, the volunteers who are working for us. And then we're going to look at what we're planning for 2022. And then the most important part towards the end is a question and answer session, where we'll attempt to answer any questions or react to any points that you have. So can I just encourage you to answer questions, put them in the Q&A box, please, as opposed to in the chat box, and then we'll answer them towards the end. So I'm now going to pass over to Oscar, who's going to summarize 2021 for us.
Okay, so we thought it was a great idea to take a look back. Let me just pull this screen up and share this screen. There we're going. David, can you just give me the nod that that's looking?
That's fine. That's fine.
All right. So we're going to, overall, we're going to look at the achievements of 2021 then, as David said, the organisational structure, and looking forward and hopefully get some good questions in at the end. But looking back, and it's been quite a year. So we'll look at membership education, events, research and development, international development, and then the marketing and the executive. Sorry, they're two separate items there. So I've broken this down into membership, broken down into two areas. I think it's worth saying that actually the membership, that we actually have 32 working groups and 60 volunteers that look after all of this. And I think it was a point that David made earlier. It's this is an organisation that's run and kind of fueled by its membership. So it's great to see that in the last year we've gone from 111 members to 309. We've had 180% growth, and this is a breakdown into the different areas that we've got. You can see that it's the strength is in the individual professional and the tea barista, and we also have a breakdown by country. So amazingly, it's not amazing. It's not a surprise actually. There's so much hard work that goes into this, and the community kind of introduces itself to their network as well as we move forward. So we've got 48 member countries at the moment. As you can see, UK and Netherlands make up the most of that, but it's got a real far reach. And in the 16 years I've been in the industry, it's not a localized industry at all. So it's not surprising that this is kind of gone way beyond Europe as well. We also launched an affiliate program. We can kind of see there actually we've got some of the affiliate members, which is really important. So for Suki Tea as an example, I had access to the membership, but I had people in my business who were curious. So we had 5 of our employees join. So that's the affiliate program. If there's a larger organization that joins, then it's not just one access, it's bringing in other access from other team members. We also launched our first 2 chapters in Benelux and Denmark in 2021, which supports the membership. Onto education then. The T101 program still is in growth. We still continue to champion that. We licensed 15 certifiers as well. Alexis will talk more about where we are in terms of who we've got coming on board and in terms of certifiers later as well. But we also, I think the key thing was launching the introduction to tea. That was the first big course that we've put a stamp on it. I think it was long awaited. There's a bit of a relaunch happening soon as well. We also created the introduction to tea for hospitality, the Botanicals Foundation, and Camellia sinensis. So there is a lot more to discuss on what's going to happen. There's so much work that I did not understand how much work was going to go in behind all of the scenes of this. But like I said, we've got 32 working groups and 60 volunteers working hard to bring all this forward. We also attended 4 different events in 3 countries. So in London, we had London Coffee Festival and London Coffee Festival and Cafe Culture. And we had KTEX in Dublin and Expo in Ghent as well. So this is a real good opportunity. Of course, we would have liked to have done a lot more. And we hope that this year we're going to be attending a lot more. And this is a great opportunity to visit and sample and really get deep into sensory and champion some of the members. So overall, they're a great success. In terms of research and development, we've established a committee and 4 working groups on health, news and trends, and we're collaborating with other organisations and also looking at water quality, which is as important, as everybody knows. In terms of international development then, so we've agreed, hopefully you got to see the definition of the specialty tea definition, our version of the definition of specialty tea it caused quite the stir, and it opened up debate, which was exactly what it was for. There's a really good response to it. So if you haven't caught that definition, have a look on the website. And we engaged with several other other organizations as well. So the European Tea Growers, Global Japanese Tea Association, the International Specialty Tea Association, the Taiwanese Tea Association on Europe, is that right, David? Yeah. The World Tea Expo, Nepalese Tea Associations, and AVPA. So we've got kind of wide pool of knowledge coming in. A little note on marketing then. I'll be brief on this because there's a bit more chat later on what's to come. It's really just to talk about what's involved. There's quite a few different marketing groups. So there's a group for the website, and we look at developments and how we can kind of improve that. There's a group for social media. There's a group for the newsletters. We have people working on the webinars, which have been a really big hit. We have, there's a little picture of the merchandise, which we launched just pre-Christmas last year. And then there's a group working on branding as well. So communications and all of that, that kind of the background work to that is just ongoing, and we will continue to work hard to share the information that's worked on in the background. And then lastly, in activities and achievements in 2021, we added 2 new members of staff, of course, voluntary again. We installed a new account system, rather boring, but it's very functional, and it's really important to the kind of background of how we operate. We installed an online exam program as well, key to the development of the online education part of ESTA. And of course, we agreed to defer elections with the members as well, which David I'll touch on later. So in a nutshell, it was quite a lot of work. That's what happened in 2021. David, I'll move on to you. I'll stop sharing this screen and to learn a little bit more about the organizational structure.
Okay, great. Thank you, Oscar. So yeah, as we've both mentioned, you know, we're an organization for our members, working for our members, and our members are working for us. So we thought it would be good just to share all of the people who have been doing voluntary work for us during the last year and beyond that, and also say at the same time that you know, we're always looking for people to help us with all the various programs that we're working on. So I will just, this is now the critical part of this webinar, is David doing the technical stuff without crashing the whole thing. So I hope we're all going to be together in a few moments' time when I've done this. You'll just how much is that? Can you see that? Has it worked first time? Amazing. So so this will be talking about people, but also just reminding people of our organization. So we have a board at the moment of 12 directors who you can see there. Some of them are here on this webinar. Hello to you all. And they're all working, you know, really hard to make things happen. None of these directors have been elected. They've all been co-opted or appointed. And I'll come on to that situation in a minute. We then have 5 committees plus the executive. So we have research, chaired by Nigel Milliken at the top there, marketing, chaired by Oscar, membership by Willem Hoedsman from Britta in the Benelux countries. We have International Development Committee, Sharon Johnston over in Australia, and then education, which is chaired by Alexis. And then all of these committees have different working groups working on different things. So you can see here within marketing, we have an events group working on, obviously, helping us decide which events to go to and organizing them. A group working on the website, on branding, on our retail and merchandising. on the newsletter, just a committee, working group of one there. Communications, specifically social media, and also webinars as well. So you can see all of the people there working on marketing, the association. In terms of membership, we have a group who's looking at the tea barista concept and how we can encourage tea baristas to join us and how we can engage with tea baristas, because we feel that baristas are a really important part of, there'll be people who will help us promote and develop specialty tea throughout Europe and beyond. We have different chapters, which I'll touch upon a little bit more a bit later on. Lorella is also working on recruitment of new members, and we have a competitions working group. Go on to international development. You can see the working groups there: tourism and hospitality, the tea value chain, origin trips, collaborations, the ESTA Foundation, which in the future will help us raise money for to help put it back into our industry, and then also ethics and sustainability. And we have the education committee, which has lots of creators working on the different modules. The T101 group, we will be looking at masterclasses in the future. That's just dormant at the moment. And then people who have been working on the T certification program, which Alexis will tell you a little bit more about. Research and development committees really just only got going this year, and we haven't started populating these working groups yet. So if anybody fancies joining one of the R&D working groups, either on health or collaborations or water quality or news and trends, then please let us know. And we're just on the executive there. So I think we counted up earlier on, Oscar, 32, I think we said, didn't we? Different groups working with us. And for all of those who are on those groups who are here with us this evening, thank you very much. I've gone back to this slide here now, really, because that just brings me on to one of the most important things which is going to happen in 2022. And will actually be started after the board meet, the next board meeting next week, and that is an election for directors. So we had to delay this twice, or we felt that we should delay it twice in the past couple of years, because we just felt that we didn't want to be too disruptive, and we wanted to allow the current board of directors to do the job really and finish tasks. But we did promise that we would have a full election for directors this year. When I say full, what that actually means is we're going to have an annual election, and half of the board at any election will cycle off. They're free to put themselves up for re-election if they wish, but we will also open up the election to anybody who's a member in the right category and paid up to either nominate themselves or somebody else to join the board. So we'll have half cycling off every year, which means that we'll have continuity. There's no danger of, you know, the board changing too much in one go. So we'll, as I say, we'll be starting, well, this process has actually started in terms of the administration. The board will just ratify that on Thursday of next week, and then the day after we'll be writing to all members just explaining how the election is going to work and inviting people to, as I say, either nominate themselves or nominate somebody else to join the board. And this is really important to bring new blood in, you know, to help us move on. It's you know, really, really important for us both in terms of the governance of the association and also in terms of us using people's experience and skill to help us promote specialty tea and to fulfill all of our objectives and our mission and our vision. So I say to everybody who's on this this webinar now, if you are interested in standing for the board, or you know somebody who might be, then please, when you get your letter from us in a couple of weeks' time, please act on that. And that will strengthen us even more in the future. So let's so that's going to be pretty much one of the first things that happens this year, but there's a lot more happening. So I'm going to hand back to, no, I'm not, I'm going to stop sharing this. I hope, yeah. and you're going to put your presentation back on, Oscar, and I'm going to carry on talking for a little bit longer about membership, I think.
Okay, just needs to move. Okay,
so just to put the next part of this meeting in context, 2 years ago the board put together a strategic plan for 3 years for ESTA, and we've just more or less come to the end of the second year. So all of the various committees that I just showed you have been over the past month or two putting together some strategic tasks and plans for year 3 of that plan, overall strategic plan, that is 2022. And we're just going to go very quickly through these now, because this is, what is going to happen during the course of this year. So in terms of membership, as I've just mentioned a few moments ago, the team barista is critical to us in the future, we believe. So we're going to develop that and engage much more with the barista community around the world. We're also going to spend time also engaging with and developing our producer category, because we made a decision 2 years ago that, we really wanted producers to be part of our organisation, because we do represent the whole of the tea value chain. Producers are very important, so we'll be working to develop that as well. And we're also going to introduce a corporate category this year, so that, we can invite and welcome large companies in the industry who share our values, so we can welcome them into our association and show them what we can do for them, and show them how they can help us as well, and how we can work together in the future. We're going to work on adding new benefits to members, to existing members, so that everybody gets more out of the association, out of the membership of the association. We promised at the beginning of our 3-year plan to survey our members officially to find out what people think and what they want. We're talking all the time. There's quite a lot of interaction in various means, but we want to do a proper survey. We'll do it this year. And we also plan to add to Denmark and Benelux by opening 5 new chapters at least this year. Chapter being very important because it's the way that our members can work together on a local basis while still being part of an international organisation. So Russia and Ireland are pretty much there, really, in terms of their chapters being formed, and we hope to get Germany, France, UK, and maybe others to follow that in the course of this year. So that sums up what hopefully is going to happen in membership this year. If you have any questions on that or anything else that we discussed so far, please put them in the box, and the same for the other topics that we're going to be discussing for the next few minutes. So I'll now hand over to Alexis, who's going to talk about education for us.
Oh, good. My favorite subject. So education program, or the tea certification program, it's taken a long time to develop, and that's because we've got so many tea experts from across the world helping us build this up. And it's all voluntary based, so we need to get empty everybody's brains and put it on paper, and then put it into our program. So this 2021, we're able to relaunch our intro to tea. And once we've got that going, although COVID has been a huge sort of problem for us, because we're not being able to do all the courses we'd like to do, because a lot of it is sensory, a lot of it has a lot of activities where people are actually doing practical sort of learning. We soon realized, because of COVID, that we needed to support the restaurants and hotels, etc. They're having huge problems. And it became quite obvious that we needed to launch an intro to hospitality to help them with this. And that's, we've been working on it the last several months, and that hopefully it'll be launched on the 31st of January this year. Along with the intro to hospitality, we've actually almost finished 2 of our foundation courses. The botanicals, which is very shortly due to be launched, probably hopefully by the beginning of February, and Camellia sinensis. This will be also launched hopefully beginning of February. So and then the next situation is, the next phase taking place is working on our intermediate levels. So we have barista skills, as David said before, we're sort of focusing on baristas across the world. So we're trying to develop a intermediate course for baristas. And again, we'll have intermediate for both botanicals and Camellia sinensis. This is our next phase, and hopefully we'll have that done towards summer or even the end of the year. It depends on how much time we all have to participate. So, so far we have about 15 certifiers which are qualified to do these courses. We've just basically got working on 18 more, which I think we're in the middle of training. So in a few months' time, there'll be 18 more joining us. And we hope by the end of the year, we'll have acquired at least 50 certifiers. So we're able to do these courses all across the globe. And quite amazingly, actually, a lot of the certifiers, they are placed all over the world. We've got Italy, Kenya, Florida, Singapore, Russia, Croatia, Germany, England, Netherlands, India, Arizona, Ireland, Denmark, Australia. So we're really covered, and we're very proud of this this certification program. Yeah, and we hope by the end of the year we'll have issued at least 1,500 certificates. So that's basically it from me so far. Yes. Yeah, just to let you know what other courses we're doing. We are doing, apart from the intermediate, we're doing the sensory skills, hospitality, cultivation. We hope that's why we want producers on board. We want to do a course on how to produce tea, how to start your own business, sustainability, history, culture, ceremony, and of course this will be done again in our advanced courses. So they're the courses we're offering through the certification program, and basically we have structured everything, so it's a case of getting it down on paper and getting it out to everybody. And the exams, of course, doing the exams. So once somebody has participated in the foundations, the intermediate and advanced, they will then be able to get a diploma. So the diploma should hopefully, it's going to take several years to do, but hopefully we will be able to have people who have a diploma in these in our courses. So yeah, that's over to you again, David.
Okay. Thanks, Alexis. Whilst Alexis was talking there, I was just having a quick look at who's actually on the webinar, and I think I know everybody. So hello, everybody. Thanks for being with us. I'm going to make it, I can't mention everybody by name, but I am just going to mention a couple of people, if I may. One of the, or two of them are our newest members, just joined in the last couple of days. Annabelle Meis from Belgium. Hi, Annabelle. And also Regine from Nairobi in Kenya. Bonsoir, Regine. Regine is one of our new authorized trainers that Alexis has just been talking about, along with Dmitry Sobolev from St. Petersburg, who's with us this evening, and also Alessandra Galtieri, who is a new member and is also going to be one of our trainers in the new year. So hello to all of you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So moving on to international development. I'm going to be a little bit vague here because the International Development Committee is meeting tomorrow to decide on the strategic tasks for the next year. This may change, but I do know that we will be agreeing to put together at least 3 partnerships with other organisations, some of them who we're already working on, and Oscar mentioned them earlier on. We're going to put together a sustainability policy document so that which hopefully will be very practical and point to things that we can do to help our industry as opposed to just talking about it. and we will organise 2 farm visits at least. There may well be just in Europe this year because of travel restrictions. We'll see how we go there. But we do plan, as the years go on, to start ramping that up to organise visits to tea farms around the world. It's fair to say that we set up the International Development Committee just at the end, I think, of 2020 maybe, or the beginning of 21. We started off really strongly, but we've sort of slowed down a bit for the past 6 months, really, for a number of reasons. One of them is everybody's busy because everybody's volunteers. Another reason is that many of us have had sort of more pressing issues to spend our time on. Education as an example, to still get the foundation in place for us to move on as an association. And that sort of slower pace will probably continue at the beginning of this year. But that's not to say that international development isn't important. It's arguably will be one of the most important parts of what we do as an association, as a community, to really help educate and make people aware of specialty tea, and how we can improve the quality and inform consumers, etc. So not a lot may be happening at the moment, but that's not to say that it won't in the future. So just back over to you, Oscar, I think, for research and development. Yeah. Or marketing, whichever one.
Oscar, I think you're muted.
You're muted, Oscar. You're muted.
There we go. Thank you. I briefly talked earlier about some of the kind of the groups that bring in marketing. And David also talked about the idea of the tea barista concept. I think that message is really important. I set my business up in tea. My guerrilla marketing tactic was to sit alongside the coffee industry in its entirety and go to the shows and just be sometimes the only tea guy there. And it was the baristas that I was talking to. So as their journeys in coffee has gone on, I think we can start talking to them about tea as well, and upskilling to be able to be a tea barista as well as a coffee barista. So we'll continue to promote and develop ideas around that, as well as the tea certification program relaunch, the introduction to tea, and the other courses that are now available or just coming up very shortly. We'll be talking and getting that information out. So there's a lot of work in the background just to kind of put a synopsis in and also get testimonial for anybody who's been through the courses. We look at the website continually as well, and from a technical standpoint, we want to be able to. I saw there was a question there about from Andrew. Will there be any special ways to communicate within chapters? It's not something that we have set up at the moment. I mean, a WhatsApp group is probably the first idea I'm thinking. Alexis, do you know any information on? Do we have anything set up at the moment?
No, but we do cooperate with Benelux on several occasions. We sort of sparring with each other to know how do we do certain things. Mm-hmm. So that'll be a really good idea, to have a group work together. Maybe one member of each organization just meet up occasionally and discuss what's taking place in the different countries and how we can sort of spread the word. Yeah.
There's so many different ways of communicating these days.
Yes.
I've the Irish chapter, we are meeting on Teams or Zoom every now and again. So it's one of those ways. So we'll continue to look at that, ways of communication, ways of improving the website, the design. We're also working to produce a new brochure in 6 different languages for this year. I'm sure that'll expand in future years and future time. And then of course just pre-Christmas we launched a set of some merchandise. These go hand in hand with the courses, because there's educational tools. I think the kind of gem of this is the sensory kit. The developed with LUCTA. So we'll continue to work with other partners and collaborate to develop more sensory tools. Of course, the tea tasting wheel, courtesy of the Australian Tea Masters, is also something that's in pride of place in my tasting room at my headquarters. We printed it out, very large. And of course, I think as we've been reviewing a few books, there's some amazing literature out there being put forward around tea. So we'll continue to review, maybe even host some online. Look at third-party fulfillment as this gets busier as well. As we've continually said, this is a voluntary organization, so we rely on the I don't know what the word is there. We rely on the generosity of people's time.
Goodwill.
Yeah, goodwill. Yeah, to be able to even just kind of run to the post office with every single order. It comes down to that as well. And of course, we'll continue to publish the newsletter monthly, and I suppose on a wider sense, start talking to the members in a wider sense to bring in some of that content. So marketing is, there's a busy aspect to it, and quite a few groups that put content in and put their time towards this. Just trying to move on to the next bit. In terms of then the research, we continue to explore and publish where possible health benefits. It's a funny grey area, and I think so much knowing the coffee industry, just by kind of sitting aside it as I have, and the amount of research that's gone into coffee, it's I think some really kind of good science in tea is still to come, but when it's there, we will bring it forward. There is a lot more over the last 5-6 years. There's been a lot more focus on tea, a lot more information being published, and so much more research, really quite heavily funded research as well, which is great to see. So when that comes up, we'll be able to share that. We've also we collaborate with other organizations, and we'll continue to do so. Research and development, news and trends. There's, as David said when we looked at the organizational chart, we have to kind of to populate these groups and kind of work on them. But the idea is to bring all those news and trends forward, and that's part of that newsletter that comes to you, that we work on. And I think, as everybody will agree, the importance of water quality and more research to be done on that. I agree. The guidelines get some standards in place and bring that conversation to the forefront. David, is there anything that I've missed on here?
No. Once again, the research committee is quite a new one, so it's just finding its feet. So I think this time next year there'll be a lot more to talk about there than there is now, really.
Very good. Okay, Alexis, I'm just going to pass you over to events then, to talk about what we've got to come up.
Right. So I think this 2022 is going to be quite a busy year. Already now we are collaborating with Allegra for the Amsterdam and the London Coffee Festivals, which should be taking place in, I think, March this year. We are also trying to collaborate with Tea Masters Cup. I think with the idea of being a European franchise has been discussed for some time. If that is not possible, and we have other ideas we'd like to work with, but that is something we very much like to do. I know Denmark, they do the Tea Masters Cup there, and there's some other European countries. It'd be good to be able to have that under our hat. Then there is the development program for the webinars and other online events. Very much the webinars are a huge success for us, and we want to do more online events, probably some masterclasses and do that. There was actually, I think, Dan Bolton's yeah, you scream about, I think you had a question here about well, you mentioned about our newsletter, but how to introduce lesser known producing regions, things like that. Consider exploring blending functionalities, mechanical processing. This is what we tend to do through our webinars. We want to get experts involved, so we hopefully to be able to introduce those as well. And again, things like sustainable packaging, and that's hopefully be part of our webinars. So if anybody has any ideas for them, please let us know, and we'll definitely work on that. So that is a major sort of innovation, is our webinars, online events. So simulate local initiatives through chapters. Absolutely. Denmark has been going for a year now, along with Benelux. I know, Oscar, you've started with in Ireland, and there are several more on its way. And yeah, I think we can work together and do a lot more to promote ESTA and specialty as well. So that is definitely something we can work together also as individual chapters. And of course, we will be, we have planned to attend at least 6 events. Well, this is going to be in place. Already now we have the London and Amsterdam coffee festivals. We have Internorder in Hamburg in March. We have EFAX in Belfast in March. We have the Herning Expo, well, Herning Tea Expo, Food Expo. It's in March as well. And again, we'll have doing Cafe Culture in September next year. Cafe Culture last year was a huge success. We hope to repeat that again this year. And of course, Expo in Ghent in November. So we have a full year of activities and events, which are very important to us for promoting what we do and specialty tea. So yeah, back to you, David.
Okay, thank you, Alexis. Thanks, Oscar, for that. That sort of concludes what we've got to say. We rather would like to hear from everybody else now. There's already a few questions have been coming in, which I'll make a start on. Just going back to the one that Andrew made, that you answered, Oscar. Building chapters is going to be a really, really important part of our future, which is why we're so keen to get them going. But also running a chapter is really, really difficult, because once again, it's run by volunteers, and many of those volunteers are doing other jobs. So like Alexis is involved in the Danish chapter, and Oscar is involved in the Irish chapter, whilst doing other things as well. So it's really difficult to keep the train on the tracks, to be quite honest. One of the jobs I've had on my desk, and I'm just about finishing it, is a new document for guidelines for chapters to help in all sorts of different areas. And one of them is communication. And each chapter really should have a committee running it, and one of the people on that committee, or a board, or whatever they want to call it, should be responsible for communication, because it's vital, as we know, not only for the ESTA as a whole, but certainly within chapters. So that's something that's really high on our priorities. So good question there, Andrew. Thank you. Dan's question was there and it's gone. I think Dan was saying, Alexis, he said he was asking about could we do some webinars, was it, or promote tea processing for commodity tea? Did I get that right? Or
eager to see outreach continue introducing lesser known producing regions. Will you consider exploring blending of functional teas, mechanical processing, food safety, and expand on sustainable packaging as topics in 2022?
Right, okay. Being as you've said that, Dan, I think the answer has to be yes. And I'm hoping to have a chat with Dan in the next couple of weeks. We've already emailed this year, so we'll expand on that one, Dan. In terms of producing countries, some of our most successful webinars have been, where people from producing countries have presented to us. Two of the next three are going to be from producing countries, and we're talking to more already. So the answer to that is yes as well. So what else have we got? Andrew's come back again. Will ESTA build some kind of bridge for more convenient and flexible communication between tea producers and tea sellers? And then, yeah. So once again, absolutely yes. And, you know, one of the benefits that our producer members do see is the fact that it opens up, being part of our organization, opens up networking possibilities for them to, you know, to interact with potential buyers and buyers. And of course, two of the tools that we can use to do that haven't been available to us over the last 2 years. And that is holding events regularly where people can come and meet and network, and also organising trips to producing countries where buyers meet farmers. So once, you know, we are able to travel freely, you know, we certainly will be doing that. And then Shazi Ilgaz from Turkey, would you like to organise a face-to-face meeting that all members can attend? Absolutely, yes, we would love to do that, Shazi. When, once again, you know, as and when we can all travel and meet up, that'll be a great day. So yes. Did you want to say something there, Alexis, or were you?
No, that's fine.
Okay, Oscar, if you want to, you know, throw anything in, please do. Don't just let me do.
I was just looking at the chat and seeing where everybody's from, just being rather overwhelmed by all that. So yeah, welcome from around the globe, essentially. No, I mean, Dan's comments on sustainable packaging. You know, we've done so much research into that, so I think we'll be able to bring somebody forward to talk proficient on that topic. I think it's kind of key to the next stages. It's not just specialty tea; it's how it's presented as well. And you know, it's one aspect of sustainability and ethics.
Yeah. Yeah, there's two questions on education for you, Alexis, have you seen? So Mariella Ekins, Alexis, I missed tea and food pairing in the education list. Will that be included at some point?
Absolutely, it's it's very high priority. We actually have quite a big section in our intro to tea and in hospitality, and in the intermediate hospitality, there'll be a lot more of it. So we sort of regard food and food pairing, or tea and food pairing, as very important, especially for restaurants and hotels, even at home. So that is a major part of our education. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great, thank you. And also from Sophie Verkouteren, how can members become certified teachers? Can we find this information online?
Yes, you can. It should be under our education, but if any questions, then write to David, or just write to
or education.
Yeah. And we will help you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just to put a bit of meat on the bones there, Sophie, we're in the process of recruiting at the moment. There's will be our second wave of certifiers, and then we'll do a third wave a little bit later on. So people who will be our certifying partners will have to be firstly members of the association in the right category, and also to have taken and passed the T101 course, taken and passed the introduction to tea course, either the original one or the hospitality, and then we'll have to go through a fairly rigorous process to the point where they get to be certifying for us. And then after that it's an exciting journey for both of us, because you know, we all share Alexis's passion for education, and Oscar's also. Yeah, we can talk about that, certainly. And I had a question actually which came in to me before the webinar for somebody who couldn't be here, and it was basically, you know, it didn't quite say it like this, but what's so special about your tea certification program, you know, given that lots of people are educating? And you're right, actually, you know, lots of people are doing tea education. I was told when I joined the association by my tea colleagues who are much more experienced than myself, that there is a lot of education out there. A lot of it isn't very good. Some of it is very good. There's a lot of inconsistency. What's special about our education program? Well, first of all, not only us, because there are many others, but we are very passionate about the fact that there needs to be more education both for consumers and professionals. What makes us different, we believe, is that we're an independent body. We don't have any agenda. We're not a company. We don't have shareholders. We're owned by our members. We're totally inclusive. So we're independent. And we are striving to put together a program based on certification, which will not be done by us, but will be done by the authorized trainers who we work with and appoint. They will certify on our behalf. And as the quality grows, which we know it will, because the people who have been involved in putting the education program together, the modules, have been people of excellent quality, expertise, knowledge, and passion. The certifiers who are coming on board are equally passionate and knowledgeable and skillful about tea and tea education. And as it grows, our certification program will become recognized throughout Europe and the world as being good quality, with the correct facts and presented and delivered well, with a consistency which goes around the world, so people will know what they're getting and will be able to use our education program to not only educate themselves but also further their careers within the tea industry. So we feel very strongly that we're not denigrating anybody else who's doing education, but we believe that we do have something unique which will grow and be really successful and help people learn more about tea and help them to understand the quality of specialty tea much more. So that's a long answer to that question, which came in earlier on. We've got some more coming in. Do Alexis and Oscar, do you want to answer any of these that should come in?
One was about contact, specifically about journalists or press, I guess. And I've just answered that in the chat. There's a main email, which is hello@specialityteaeurope.com. So any queries, that's from Belinda, any queries that you've got on that, you can send your emails to hello. There was another one about that Mariella put up about that she'd written a book on tea and food pairing. I believe I have it because I've got about 6 books, but I just need to go back. Tea and cooking with tea, or actually cooking with tea, or cooking to pair tea has been a fascination of mine, and I'm sure it has a lot of people's as well. So I definitely review that book if you've got, if you can tell us where to find it.
I have a feeling that book is still only in Dutch, actually, just at the moment. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mariella. It's just the latest one that she's just done, I think.
I learned Dutch.
Maybe I'm she'll correct.
Close to Danish, we'll get there. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Belinda made a comment, and so thank you for what you've shown us tonight. Great. Okay, good. I didn't see any category that would deal with journalists' main contact for them. Not quite sure what you mean there, Belinda. We do have contacts. We do write for and are often mentioned in about 5 or 6 publications that we work with. Maybe you could ask that in a different way. So, did you already answer that, Oscar? Or are you going to put?
I just put an email in the in the chat there. So for any inquiries, I assumed it was just an inquiry of how to get in touch. But if it's a different question, then just let us know, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Shazia asks again, do you believe that interdisciplinary cooperation is more beneficial for success of ESTA? Well, once again, I'm not quite sure exactly what you mean, but I would say that cooperation and collaboration, Shazia, by the way, is one of the is leading one of the groups in the R&D committee. So from an R&D research point of view, absolutely, cooperation and collaboration is is vital, as it is with all organisations who are involved in tea, and some that aren't as well. Here's Marielle's come back. It's called Tea, Wine and Sober Sibling, and was
in English.
I was just typing the answer, but that is in English. So I'm going to get a hold of a copy and I'll put a review up. Give me a bit of time because I want to go through some of the recipes and some of the pairings, and I'll put a review up via the website and the blog.
Okay. I think we have now answered all of the questions. Your last chance, we've got a couple of minutes left. If anybody's got any further questions to ask or any comments to make, I hope everybody has learned something. You know, a lot of what we talked about actually, you know, you can pick up on the website, and you'll see, you know, some of these issues posted on our daily social media posts. And our next newsletter is coming out on Wednesday of next week. We do try to be as communicative as possible. We don't always succeed, to be quite honest. So any, you know, feedback from this evening or any further suggestions that anybody's got, you know, please, you know, feel free to contact either me direct or us through hello at specialityeurope.com, or education if it's education. Given that there are no further questions coming, oh, hang on, there's one. Stuart's just put one in the chat box. Will training locations for course delivery be required to reach a standard of equipment, facilities, etc.? Right, Stuart. So there's two parts to this answer. First of all, directly what you're saying, at some point in the future, maybe this year, maybe not this year, maybe next year, we'll be looking at licensing authorized training centers. So the actual premises themselves to be able to conduct training and certification on our behalf. Until that point, most of the certifiers that we are using, individual certifiers that we are using and working with, either do have their own premises or are working, you know, in other premises. But that's a good question, and it is definitely part of the future for our certification program. So, yeah, I'm just making sure that I have answered everything. I think we have, haven't we? So thank you very much, everybody, for being with us and for asking a question. I hope it's been useful. I hope you know a little bit more about what we're doing. I do know that in the past I've been a member of, or members of associations, and sometimes felt a little bit on the outside and felt that there was like an inner sanctum and the people who were, you know, there in the middle and I was on the outside. Please don't feel like that. If you're not involved and you'd like to be involved, or you don't know something and you'd like to, please get in touch with us and talk to us, because, you know, we are inclusive. We, you know, we want everybody to be as involved as they possibly want to be, so that together we can all, you know, move things forward and promote specialty tea. So thanks for your questions. Thanks for your also for your incisive comments as well. And once again, contact us whenever you want to. Our next webinar is on the 16th of February. And we're very pleased to have with us Tim Doffey of Postcard Teas in London. He was one of the sort of the pioneers and the early heroes of specialty tea. And he's presenting to us on, the title is Specialty Tea, Back to the Future. So please register for that as soon as you can and come along and enjoy that. And we'll look forward to seeing you then. So to everybody, thank you very much. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
See you again. Bye.
Bye.